Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Power of a Hobby. I'm your host, Don Fenton, and we have another guest. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm fine, Dom, and thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. It's great to have you on board. And I've sort of mentioned already what the question is going to be for this first one. Um, but before we do that, David, why don't you just introduce yourself to everyone and just tell people what you do?
Okay, I'm David Baum, it says on the screen. I'm the founder of Move for Wellness. I'm a 65-year-old tutu wearing personal trainer from Hertfordshire. And the tutu is there because of Move for Wellness.
Love it, love it, and and actually, you're coming on my other podcast as well for this one, so
Yeah.
you're going to get a double amount of time with me today.
I'm not sure who's unlucky. You're unlucky
Yeah,
and I'm lucky.
it's what it is. So, David, first question: what does the power of a hobby mean to you?
The ability to have time for you, to close, whether it's half an hour, 2 hours, where you're in your own world of solitude, where you're not bothered by the phone if you don't wish it to be. It's a thing. Not when I was growing up, a hobby was things like stamp collecting, coin collecting, whatever. Hobbies today can be anything, including, which I love, is people going for walks through. It's about that moment of release. With my PT hat on, I often say to new clients, especially young women who've got children, older women who've got, when is your moment for you? When is that hour where it is nothing? You're not affected by phones. You're not someone's mum, someone's grandmother, someone's father, someone, whatever. It's just you on your own. And it's very powerful once you work out what hobbies are. And it's not necessarily tapestry or painting by numbers or, say, gardening, or it's anything that gives you that pleasure.
Yeah, love that. And the thing is, I've sort of now we're on quite a large number of podcasts with this, and actually everyone's answer is slightly different, and I think that's the beauty. And actually, as you said, hobbies can be anything,
Mm,
providing it's something for you.
correct.
Hobbies can be anything.
Yeah. I mean, years ago, people used to get very embarrassed that, oh, I do this or I do that. But now, I mean, the fact is, there's nothing that's not out there. So if you want to learn how to crochet, you can find that information out. The beauty about social media, for all the negativity that's out there, there is so much information that you can get that makes you, it gives you that hobby. When I was growing up, I was very lucky. I've got an older sister and I had a younger brother. Insisted we had to have hobbies. I mean, Dad used to make Airfix models, and he would make copies of the James Bond car and the Victory until it got damaged one day in my bedroom. My brother and I playing with a Super Ball, and he threw it, it bounced and hit, broke, it destroyed HMS Victory. The French couldn't do it, but he did.
But he
Uh,
did, yep.
he did, but I had an electric enameling kit. My brother had an acrylic making kit, so he could make paperweights and stuff. And my sister had a candle making kit. I had a microscope. I had a science set. We had scale electrics. We had different things. They wouldn't think scale electrics was a hobby, but it's again playing Subbuteo as a child is a hobby. And I remember we used to have leagues and all sorts of stuff that you forget about. You reach your teens and all those things that you did as hobbies, unless they are, say, sport based. So you played football as a hobby, you move into as a teen, you carry on. But so much of what were your hobbies as a child, we forget.
Mm.
And we get such busy lives. We got school, we got exams, we then work, boyfriends, girlfriends, whoever, children, mortgages, jobs. Yeah, you're on call 24/7 with your work these days. Working from home is not the thing. I'll go and sit watch TV and then do work half an hour. You're there 20, and all of a sudden you reach an age where you go, I need to do something. And then all of a sudden you think back to when you're a child. And you suddenly realize how expensive that hobby would be today. You have to find another hobby.
Yeah, no, I love that. So, if what I want to do now is I'd like you to introduce what your hobby is to the listeners.
Okay. Well, because apart from the fact I'm a PT, I actually enjoy running.
Okay.
Now, before lockdown, I couldn't run more than a mile. And I was in the gym and I was talking to Nina, who was the physio there. I said, explain this. She said, your gait is wrong, David. I said, what do you mean wrong? She said, this is what you're doing, and this is how you should. So she showed me. She give it a try. So I went out the next day and ran, and I suddenly realized I could run 2 miles. I was knackered, but I could run 2 miles. I'd used to do sort of 75-mile cycle rides, London to Cambridge, whatever. And when I got knocked off the fourth time, I decided me and bikes. I think I was broken in my hand once, enough cut, broken ribs. So I thought, nah, that's enough. So once I just, then we had lockdown. So one of the things I could do was go for a run, put my music on, and just allow, didn't matter if it went fast or slow. And that's then become developed into, I'm now running the marathon again in April, the London Marathon for the second time. And it's going to be the last time I've said this, unless someone wants to give me a place, because to run the London Marathon, unless you get a place in the ballot, you have to raise money. And it could be anywhere between £1,500 to £5,000, depending on the charity that you're running on behalf of. And I can't keep going back to the same people and say, hey, I'm doing this year. So I said, there is a charity, thanks to my late brother, his wife's involved with it, my sister-in-law lives, that is MS. And we were talking, and I said, if they cover my entry fee, I will run and I will raise money on top of that. But I don't want the pressure of having to raise £1,500, £2,000, £3,000. But for me, running is a hobby. It allows me for 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or a marathon, say 6 hours, just to be in my own space and allow basically nature, especially spring is brilliant. If you're up early and you go out, there are no cars about. Dawn's not really breaking at sort of 6 o'clock in the morning, but you're hearing the birds twittering. You see buds on the trees, all of a sudden life coming back. The air is clear, and it makes you, sets you up for the day.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is the thing, actually, because realistically, we were talking off air about the costs of hobbies and stuff like that. Actually, if you've got a pair of trainers, you've got something to wear in your bottoms, something to wear in your top, you can just go out and run.
Yeah, if you're if you're just going to be the casual, occasional, like the couch to 5K type runner, which is where a lot of people start.
Yeah.
As I discovered, if you're running regularly, it's actually better to go somewhere like Runners World or Runners Need. They will analyze your gait and they recommend the shoes that you should be wearing. Because I used to go through trainers every couple of months. I need a new pair of trainers. I'd go along to Sports Direct or any other brand that's out there. I'd go and buy a pair of Nikes or whatever, and I'd wear them out. It turned out I had to wear orthotics, and now my trainers while cost me more, last twice as long. And it's understanding, once you get into it, understanding about nutrition and hydration, and it's not necessarily having to wear the lycra as you would as a cyclist. I was a mammal, I was a half mammal, and I was a non-mammal, a middle-aged man in lycra. Actually, that's so weird. If you're a cyclist and you go out just in a t-shirt, shorts, cycling along, listen to music, everyone ignores you. If you go out wearing a top from a organized ride and still short, people will go. If you go out in the full mammal gear, thinking you are Bradley Wiggins or Geraint Thomas, you're a member of the tribe, you see, and then hey, that's what. Very strange people. But I've discovered actually runners we're all solitary, but most of solitary people, even if you run with someone. And we all give each other a wide berth. Cyclists never give anyone a wide berth. You have to give them the wide berth. But so it allows you as a runner to really, especially if you've got, for me, often if I'm speaking at an event, it allows me time to practice and work out what I want to say, have headphones in. They don't know if you're speaking on the phone these days or you're singing along. No one knows. You can, it allows, because you're just running. You're not thinking about your grandchildren, your children, your wife, whatever. It just allows you that moment of solitude.
Let's go back a little bit. So in terms of you, obviously sort of before or just before lockdown and everything else, and then you started. Did you do much running before that, or
No, I could have said I used to get problems with my back, with my knee, and my ankle.
but was that from doing all the cycling
No,
you're
it's
doing,
just
or was that
it was
just
just
what it was?
I originally got knocked down. I was about 11. I got knocked down when I was 11, and that altered my back positioning.
Yeah.
And then I had issues at school, shall we say, as we all do. By the time I was in my mid to late 30s, I had real problems with my back. I had to go to a chiropractor. They cleared it, but it was never resolved. But so cycling was always good. I used to love spinning because it was allowed me to do what I needed to do. Cross training was great because it was low impact. Swimming was good. It was only when Nina identified the problem I had with my gait.
Yeah.
But then it triggered off other issues, which I had to learn about stretching. I had to learn about what was the correct warm-up procedure so I didn't get a bad back. It's learning about if you've got an injury, don't be stupid. Stop. I mean, I see this all the time as a trainer. People go, ow! I said, stop. And they say, well, no, I'm all right. No, you stop. Because if you don't, you can do more damage. Let's have a look what it is. Because there's always two types of pain, which people don't understand. There's good pain, where you've pushed yourself and you've got the lactic acid builds up and it's your legs ache and you've got nothing left in you. That's good pain. But when you're suddenly running along and you suddenly feel a twinge in your back, stop.
Yeah, that's not so good.
No. And so when I did the marathon last year, I had an issue I shouldn't have run in the first place. I always have this habit of doing things I shouldn't do because I had a femoral nerve issue, which was tied up to it. And I should have had it sorted out beforehand. I didn't. And I got 12 miles. And then it's called Jeffrey. I walked the rest of the marathon. I still did okay time-wise, but I've learned from that. So this time I'm having a massage before to make sure my back is totally clear. Because I know what I'm looking for, I can sort it out. And it's great. But it's bad pain. Unless you're in the middle of something, you have to stop. And then if you're stupid like me, you say, no, I'm going to carry on walking because I must finish. But the trouble is, I had so many people sponsor me last year, I had to an option.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the thing where you do sponsored events. So obviously obviously having seen some of these now, obviously, so you've started the running.
Mm-hmm.
What's then made you go from doing that to doing fun runs, 5Ks, 10Ks, marathon, half marathon? What's then made you go from that to that? And what's that journey been like? When was that first time you went, actually, I enjoy this, and you know what? I'm going to go and do a sponsored 5K, or I'm going to do a whichever race.
I mean, I'm always one of these people that likes to push themselves. So I don't know if you're aware what battle ropes are. These are massive cables that you.
Yeah, yeah.
And back in 2015, said to myself, I wonder what the world record is. And I could only manage like 30 seconds to a minute. And I went online, there was no record, official Guinness World Record for battle ropes. I'm going to set one, I thought. And I literally I said to myself, okay. And every day I did a bit longer. And I got in touch with Guinness, who wouldn't recognize what I was doing. So I went mad. And I said, why not? You recognize people sitting in a tin of bathtub of baked beans or covering themselves in paper clips or whatever. And they said, there's a reason we can't recognize it. The wave that you make with the rope is going to be different from somebody else. One of you, it's totally unique to each person, so we can't recognize it. Yeah. But the guys in America who created battle ropes were chatting. They said, okay, go for it. Because they have 60-minute classes for trainers. You've got to be able to do it for 60 minutes. They weren't very impressed with me because I did it 80 minutes. And then I realized I'd just run out of energy. I hit the wall. So we stopped. So for me, it's just always been, if I'm doing that, can I do X? So once I started running during the lockdown, I thought, oh, this is good. And then I noticed there was a thing come up for 10K, Regent's Park 10K. I thought, oh, blimey, that's quite cool. And I really wasn't having I didn't have PT, it was just me training myself. So I went along and managed it, felt knackered, but managed it. And I booked in for another one. And I thought, I'm not going to go for the marathon. And and it was just get on with it and just go along, get medals. And I've got medals all over the place. You get a lovely medal when you finish. Let me see if I can find some of them. Let me see. Okay, because there's, for anyone that wants to do things, there you get these virtual medals. You do a virtual run. This is one called for Banff, and it's a company that runs them. You register to take part. This was like 60 miles, and you do it online. And that's another way. If you're running, you want to do something that holds you responsible for your own actions. One of their accountability is you sign up to do something like that. You can do it for walking, running, swimming, whatever. You get your medal. I've never been interested, apart from this year, in a T-shirt from an event because I won't wear them. However, as it's going to be the last one, I've signed up. I want the T-shirt. I want the foil blanket this year. I want the medal because I've never done it before. I've done it, but so for me, it was the medal. And then, okay, the first one was I did it in whatever it was, hour and 20 minutes. How much better can I go next time? And then next, and it's all about basically pushing the bar for me. How far could I push that bar to improve and not be worried about other people passing me? It's my own challenge. And when you're running, when you're cycling, in your mind, you could be Geraint Evans or when I was younger, Eddie Merckx or whoever. You might want to be a lady, Paula Radcliffe or David Henry, but it's also about you. That's that challenge. So when I did my first half marathon, I wasn't what I expected, and I hadn't really started working with my trainer at the time. I just had about a month to do it. And before that, I'd done a 10 miles in Portsmouth, and it was great camaraderie. The fact I wear a tutu when I'm running these events makes people ask why, and we'll go back to that later. But there's a great camaraderie at these ones, but you're basically on your own, even though you're running with other people. That just, if people see you struggling, I'll say, "How are you doing? You okay?" So it's great. So for me, it was okay. What can I do a half marathon in? And when I've realised now there's certain words you should be very careful of. Undulating is one of them. Now, undulating to my mind is very gentle hills. Undulating is up Ben Nevis type things. And they kept and because I had an issue with one of those doing my back started hurting me, I ended up walking it. And I had all the first day people say, "Are you all right?" "Yeah, I'm fine." So I'm the last on the course.
Yeah.
And I had behind me 2 Red Cross people on their bikes. And I kept going past these tables. I'm going, "Look, come and join me." I wanted my Forrest Gump moment with all these people following behind me. No one did. But
the Pied Piper.
Yeah, but no one did. But the finish it. You've started it. So again, you see people. So the marathon, and I've always wondered in the past, why do you carry on? You've got an injury. You carry on because it is something. You will feel wretched afterwards if you cannot complete it. As I said, for me at the moment, it's running. Can I go slightly faster? And because I did a half marathon a few weeks ago, I had an issue because I should never run. I had a stomach upset. I literally ran out of energy. I've got one in April, just 2 weeks before the marathon, a half marathon. So now I said, okay, I know what time I want to do. Can I actually go to that time or slightly faster? That's what it becomes. It's like anything, a hobby. When you see people who train collectors, I mean, look at Phil Collins, look at Rod Stewart, look at Jules Holland, they're all train collectors. And they love their model train sets, and they make these amazing. It's their moment. I've got a friend of ours, Gordon. He makes car layouts. His wife buys Lego kits, and she makes beautiful model cars. My late father used to make dolls' houses, and it started off as a hobby. It started off because he wanted to make one for my mum, and he got so into it. It was his way because he was a trained engineer. He did carpentry as a younger man. So for him, that moment was building a doll's house. And then my mother's hobby was finding all the furniture to go into it. So it was a hobby they could do together.
Yeah. And I think that's where these sort of things become quite powerful. How many events have you done so far?
I worked out last year, I had 23 medals last year.
Wow. Okay.
This year, it will probably be about 15 or 16. It's, but every time I go out, when we finish today, I'll go out for a 10 miles. So that technically could be a race because most of them are 10K, which is 6.5 miles. I've gone, so I could turn around and say I do a 10K race 2-3 times a week. Yeah. So it's, as I said, when I do the official ones, it's great. That's what I love about these sort of ones is I can go out, I can run my 10K on my phone. I've got an app that tells, so I link in there. So at the moment, I'm doing the Golden Triangle of India. It's something like 570 or 590 miles. And I've got 42 days left to do 400 miles.
Right. Okay.
And so that's a challenge in its own. So it's, I mean, there was one came through yesterday that they've got a new one, Wile E. Coyote. There's a Looney Tunes challenge. And basically you get the medal for whatever you do. So I've got to make a decision whether I'm going to go for Wile E. Coyote, Daffy Duck, or Bugs Bunny.
When you got into running, did you think you'd find this completely different world now?
No, I did. I thought, oh, this is quite cool. What am I going to do during lockdown? It was never my brother. When we were growing up, my brother was the runner. I was never built for running because I'm short. He had long legs and I'm shorter. I used to enjoy cross country, but then I had trouble with my knee and I ended up doing table tennis. Yeah. He was the runner. My cousin Matt in Australia is a runner. But I've now discovered I actually love that bit. I'm going as fast as I may. If it's hurting, I'll walk. But that again, you don't have to. You can get that same pleasure I get from running just going walking.
Yeah.
And I say to my clients is, go for a walk. Don't worry about running. Just find a field somewhere. Go to a park. Walk around a park 5 times. We've got a park nearby us that it's basically 440 yards path. Well, hold on, I can do 3 laps of those. It's almost a mile.
Yeah.
And if you're walking that, what better way of walking a mile? Go around seeing trees, I was running there the other day and there were ducks. And the field was flooded in places and there were ducks floating on these puddles. You think, that's awesome. And then you see all the trees coming in. And okay, you do get occasional dogs going at you, but then that's just me.
Yeah, you probably encourage that.
Yeah, probably.
Right, coming up to the last question.
Yeah.
So, let's put it into your context. A client comes up to you, or someone you network with, or something like that, and says, "I've got no hobby. I want to have a hobby, but I've got no idea where to start." What would you say to them?
First of all, let's sit down. Let's have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. What do you enjoy doing? That's the first thing. You've got to enjoy it. There's no point to become a stamp collector if you don't enjoy stamps. Everybody has something. Nobody is so vacuous that they haven't got something that makes them happy. It could be watching a cartoon, say a Pixar cartoon. Okay. That could be their hobby. Watch the Pixar, understand about what Pixar, just enjoy it. It could be that they just enjoy flowers. They don't want to admit it, but there's something in there that they enjoy. Yeah, if you're on holiday, what do? Do you lay around the beach or do you go for a swim? I've got a new client on board. She loves exercise. It's great. Her husband is 67 now. I'm 65. He's got sleep apnea issues apparently and doesn't want to do exercise. And I said, the trouble is he goes back to school. The old PE master scream at you, run around a hall, jump on a vault box.
Yeah.
No, very few of us could actually vault. Most of us say you lost that interest. As I said, it could be anything. It may be that you enjoy looking about computers. It could be that something triggers, you've seen something online. It could be anything. But we've all got something that goes, oh, yeah, actually, I hadn't thought about that. That could be a nice hobby. And then just start. And if you enjoy it, then guess what? there probably is a club out there. I mean, if you go to museums, well, that could be a nice hobby.
Yeah.
There's no reason you can't find. Everyone has some things. As I say, unless you're so vacuous, then what? Yeah, what's the point? Well, then why are you living? If you're so, you're not living, and hobbies help you live better.
Yeah, completely agree. David, for anyone who wants to get in touch or see more about you, where can they find you?
Oh, I'm a shy, retiring person, as you know, Dom. All over social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Sorry, not Twitter, X.
X, yeah.
Who calls it X? I'm sorry, Elon Musk is stupid.
I know.
TikTok. I mean, it's great. Either look for me as David Baum, or look for Move for Wellness or Move PT. I'm on all over the place. I'm sure you'll very kindly put up one of my contact details somewhere in there. But yeah, just say hello. Any questions why a 65-year-old does stupid things like running a freaking marathon? Please ask. I said fricking, by the way. It doesn't.
Yeah, no, you did well. We'll leave that in. That's fine. David, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, Dom. Thank you so much.
Been great to catch up with you as well. Thanks everyone for tuning in or watching on YouTube. I'm your host, Dom Fenton. This is the Power of a Hobby, and I'll see you next time. See you later.
Bye.